Silver got the name the devil's metal for a reason. It does know how to fake out investors. And this last move was a little bit of unexpected, but Ben Bernanke spoke. Talked about extending Operation Twist. Also some speculation about QE3 may be coming up. But that's what's pricing in the market right now. Nothing fundamentally. Yes, I know silver should be worth more fundamentally. I think it's going to be a very solid investment. One of the few safe places people can put their park their money for a few years. It's going to go up. But as of right now, what's been going on the last couple of days or so is that it's speculation. It's speculation about QE3. Actually, what is going on globally in the markets? There's a downturn. There's actually a bad downturn. Now QE3 can turn that around, but he has to actually act upon it, and I'm not sure. You see, Ben Bernanke could break this little bubble that's starting to, well, I don't want to use the word exactly a bubble, but this good movement in silver that jumped up like this. He can break this very easily. And there's a lot of other news coming out of Europe that could actually break this movement too. This was actually a very surprising slow slide in silver. To me, I did not expect this to take so long to drop down to these levels. Now, if we look on a weekly, we can see 3 bullish hammers after a long, slow slide. And this looks like everything's moving up on the weekly for this week. But, you know, somehow, the only technicals I trust on silver is Fibonacci. And I trust that on a longer range because it seems to play out over a larger scale better than if you try to look at it on a daily basis or weekly basis. But that's what's telling me it could actually pull back below 26, and that's what I think might happen. It's very difficult to say because it does hinge a lot on what Ben Bernanke's going to say. But we know what happened back here too. You know, we had this spike upward. Everybody's expecting him to say one thing, and he said something else. So actually, if somebody wanted to invest more money in silver, I'm already in the stuff enough. I would just go long, and I would not use leverage. I would play it safe. That's actually like a Mark Farber rule. You don't want to be playing around with leverage right now because you don't know the direction of the market. And looking at some of the facts, what happened in May, actually the J.P. Morgan Global Manufacturing Index, it went down. It actually went down pretty hard, right? I mean, this was a pretty good jump down globally. And China is having a slowdown. They're having a big slowdown, actually. And, you know, the numbers that are even put out by the government are still, it's around 50, but the ones by HSBC are around 48. So China is actually below, the real numbers are below 50%, which means contraction. They got, and considering they're 60% of the commodity that are used up in the world in their markets, that's a hell of a difference. And here's the Baltic Dry Index. This tells you the shipping. What happened here in May? It's been slipping, right? Especially in the last half of May. So what's moved up silver in these last few days? It's all announcements or hints from what's coming out from the Fed. That's why I don't trust the market right now. I don't want to tell people to go short, though, because I'm not sure. I don't like shorting silver, period. I never did. It's one reason I got out of the position a little too fast. But it's like something like I stated. I fundamentally believe in silver, and I think it's an excellent investment. Despite some of the things some people might hear that I say and you might disagree with, you know, like silver won't be monetized again in a true sense. I doubt that very much. But it's going to go up in value a good deal, and it's going to protect your wealth. And actually, it's going to grow your wealth. Because if you sell it at the right time, you're going to do extremely well. But right now, these markets, I would not trust them to jump in on leverage on anything. If you're already invested in silver, just sit tight. If you haven't been and you haven't made any investment in silver or gold, you should buy some. It's still pretty low. It might drop some more, but that's too dangerous of a move not to be out of the game altogether. Everybody should be into silver, actually, and gold somewhat. Well, if everybody jumped in there, what we know would happen, it would rise appreciably inside of no time, but it's going to take a while before people get nudged into doing that. And what's going to nudge them into doing that is catastrophic problems in the financial system. That's what's going to bring people into the physical metals. And that's where we're going to see the prices go way the hell up. But it's probably the time to sell. That would probably be the time to sell. Take fiat, and then don't hold fiat, but trade it for another asset class that's depressed, which might be land. It could actually might be land at that time that go into something else, or maybe some type of equities. Not everything on a piece of paper is going to go down. You know, it's almost like I should ad lib a little bit on that piece of paper stuff that everybody says a piece of paper is going to go down. If you have a certificate that states you own silver, and the person is honest and you actually have it there, you can get it any time you want, that piece of paper is as good as the silver. It's a matter of the type of people you're dealing with. The problem is there's a lot of garbage that goes on within the system and a lot of dishonesty. It's almost like, you can't say the paper is going to, the paper is just a representation. There's a real asset behind it. Just as you own a stock, there's a real company behind it that's producing goods for people. So not everything on a piece of paper is going to go down. But everything on a piece of paper backed by government, that could very well happen. That could very well happen. That's the thing to avoid. And that's something that Mark Farber says you should avoid too. Buying into government debt or buying any kind of instruments that are backed by that. But again, it's almost like, piece of paper, it's a representation of something. It's like, say you have a deed to land. Is it the paper? It's the deed. It's the fact that you have the ownership and you have proof of ownership. That's actually what makes the paper worth something. It's the fact that there's a real asset behind it. So I don't want people thinking that every single thing in the paper market's going down. That is untrue. But basically my point of making this video here right now is that I would not necessarily try anything on leverage right now, because the markets could be pushed one way or another very rapidly by one word or any kind of hints coming out of the Federal Reserve. That is actually what is moving these markets right now. It's stuff that's coming out of people from the Federal Reserve talking about hints from QE, and also Ben Bernanke talking about extension of Operation Twist. So the speculators are jumping in there. This whole thing could be a fake out, and we might see, I don't know it for a fact, but we might see a low for silver go below 26. But then that would make the double bottom, and then that's a bullish sign. So, I would stay out of it for a little bit unless you are not invested in gold or silver at all. Then you should buy some.